every hour.
And we're live. And that's New York Vinnie. He has recently returned from the great Northwest beyond
Yes,
with
and that's
Seattle.
Michael Knight,
You think
and he
Seattle
ain't
would be
going
the end of
nowhere.
it, but if you go beyond Seattle, you run into a completely different country.
Yeah, 120 miles or so up north. Yeah, you go through these gates, and they smile at you as you go through,
No.
and when you get to the other side, things are in different numbers, and uh, you have to slow down a minute and figure things out. But for the most part, it's a different place. People are
Now,
friendly, and
do they have different money and different cars and different customs and different words for things?
yeah, they got all of that. They have a few different cars, different money, definitely. Although you can use your money from here. It's not like Cuba. When you go to Cuba, you have to turn in your money and then use their money. But really, you can use your money because you just can't get caught using your money. Because if you get caught using your money, they don't have a big sense of humor about it down there.
No, that's just not right. If the Cuban can't have a sense of humor, who can?
So then they either throw you in jail or you have to use some more of your money to
To get out of their jail.
get out of the situation
And that's when they
before
won't
it
take
gets
that.
to you.
That's now when you're getting out of jail. That's when they won't take their money. They got to have your money.
Yeah, they don't want to see their money when you're trying to get out of jail. They want dollars. They're loving dollars. That's what they say. You know what? This Cuban money is great. We loved Fidel when he was here, and we love who's ever running the country right now. But
But this isn't about Fidel. This is about you getting out of jail. So you got to have dollars and cents, baby.
right, this is about you getting out of jail and me getting my next meal from some black marketeer. It's crazy how it works down here. But we're not talking about down there. We're talking about up there. And
Well,
on
first of
Friday
all, leave
night,
on Friday. You said I'm going to try and get tickets. I'm just going to call. Sometimes they have a drop. Sometimes you know the Springsteen ways better than many. Having been to how many shows? 25, 26.
oh man, no, way more than that, man. I think I've lost count over the years, but it's over 100. And I'd say maybe even close to 100 and I don't know, 110, 120. I've lost. I mean, over the years, I've been to so many, I've lost count.
Well, you added another one on Friday. We didn't know if you were going to get in to have an opportunity to see the show. You were going to give it your best effort, and you were going to drive the Volkswagen bus up there to say hello there.
Yes, yes, we took the Volkswagen bus, the little fun little man. I don't know if I've driven anything all year that's been as much fun. I mean, this thing is a very top of the line competitor for the Car of the Year award.
Did you get honks on the highway?
Honks and waves and women coming over to it and looking at it and men coming over to it and admiring it. Although it's funny, the women I notice for some reason come closer. Like men will stand back and they'll look at it and they'll talk to each other, but women will come right up to it and look inside. And even the woman at the border for Canada, I mean, got out of her booth and came out, asked me if I'd open the back door, and opened up the back door, and she looked inside, and she wasn't looking for anything. She was just admiring. She was
Plus,
checking it out. She hadn't seen one before. Nobody up
that's
there
a
had seen one before.
that's a woman who has seen a lot of cars.
And yeah,
She,
she sees
she
a
hadn't seen
thousand
one like
cars a
that.
day.
Yeah.
And she was so taken with it that she came over to it and took a look and checked it out and wanted to know more about it. Although I will say, when she heard the price, she yeah,
You can
the
go. You can
GST
go.
on that thing is more than my car cost.
You can
Uh,
go. I'll stay.
yeah, if you want to take me for a ride, be back here at 6. But other than that, but it was it was But we went up there. It was a quick trip up to the arena. I wound up getting tickets to the show online. I went to Ticketmaster, and they had their ridiculous pricing structure, whatever it is. They wanted 1,000, I don't know, like $1,250 per ticket. So I went over to StubHub and looked around StubHub and came up with two tickets for $277 a piece. And as soon as I bought those tickets, I said, you know what, 277 is not a bad price. I talked to my friend Bill, my room. I said, well, you want to go? He says, yeah, I definitely want to experience my first Springsteen concert. So he was up for it.
Wow. Wow.
So um, I pushed the button, and where did the tickets come from? But they're the same tickets the Ticketmaster wanted $1,277 for, whatever it was.
Let that be a lesson in life to all of you.
Same exact ticket. It was the same spot, the same place, the same section, everything.
And from the video that I saw that you took during the show, they were not bad seats. They were good
They,
seats.
they were good seats. They were good seats. They were on the stage left, halfway back, maybe not even halfway back, maybe a little closer than halfway back, and 16 rows up from the floor.
And you could look almost down on the stage, not just at the stage, but you were looking
Right. No,
down
you were
on the
looking, yeah,
activity.
you were up a little bit, up enough that you could see what you wanted to see.
Yes.
And I was quite happy with the tickets, and not only the tickets, but the whole experience of getting there. So we pull up to the Rogers Arena, and I have a handicap card. So, but I didn't call ahead for handicap, you know, um, parking or anything like that. There's very limited parking. It's right in downtown Vancouver, so there's very limited parking there. So I
Of
pull up to
course.
the garage, the underground garage at Rogers, and I said to the women, "Do you have handicap parking?" She says, "Well, no, you have to call ahead, yada yada yada." Right? So you know what would have happened in America?
Get
That would
out
have
of
been
here.
turn your damn vehicle around and get the hell out of here. Instead, this woman said, "Well, now hang on a second," and she picked up her walkie-talkie and she said, "Okay, we can fit you in down on the third level. The executive parking for the Canucks had spaces open, and so she collected not 80, not 100, not 200, but $31 for parking, which translated to like 22.50 in American cost, the
And
dollar versus the Canadian dollar. So for 22.50, we parked right at the elevator of where we had to go up. No hassle. So now I get out, and we had, the tickets are in your phone now. That's how they do it. No more paper ticket. So of course, in the underground parking garage,
you can't access your phone.
and you can't access the tickets. So again, if you did that at an American stadium, what do they tell you? You're lying to us. You don't have tickets. Get the hell out of here.
You got no tickets. If you had tickets, you'd show me on your phone, but the phone doesn't
Right, you
work
have them on
here.
the phone. You would have put them in your wallet or this or that. All right. So, but what happens? The woman at the gate sees that she has the metal detector up and everything. She sees that I'm having trouble getting the thing. And what does she do? She calls the supervisor, and she says to them, "These guys are having trouble with their phone. Could you please escort them upstairs to the gate, upstairs where the Wi-Fi works, and you can get in?" And this guy comes and he asks us, "How you doing tonight? What's going on?" He treated you like what arenas tell you are, a
A
guest
custom. Yes.
at the arena. Many will say that, but very few. In other words, the relationship is not an adversarial. relationship, and it was a relationship of we sold you something, and now we want to make sure that you get it what you paid for.
How may I help you?
How may I exactly? How may I help you? And they got us upstairs. The Wi-Fi worked. They scanned the tickets, and the guy then turns to me and says, "Do you need any assistance getting to your seat?" I
Wow.
said, "No, I think I'll be okay, but thank you." And we walk along the concourse. I didn't have handicap seats; I just had, and of course, it was up, and you have to go up and then down. It's like a basketball arena, so you go up and down. And I struggled a little bit going down because there's no handrails, so I struggled a
Right.
little bit going down. So what happens? Somebody gets up from their seat and they give me their arm and they say, "I'll help you down." We're it's probably 40 rows. We're in row 16.
Wow.
And person gets up and they escort you. Now, I'm not saying Canada is the land of la la or anything like that, but the impression that I got from the people that worked at the arena and
Just
the
average
people
every.
that were the concert staff is that they were in a position of wanting to help you. Make it a good experience for you. Not what can I do to block you? What can I do
No.
to cock block you? What can I do to make your experience a crappy experience this afternoon or this evening?
How can I ruin the atmosphere before the show even starts?
Yeah, how can I make you stand in a room while they come out and start the show so you can miss, you know, 10 minutes of the show? And I'm sure that, I mean, I have a good attitude with people. I realize that I'm a guest in their country. So it doesn't take, I mean, there's no reason to be yelling at people or anything like that. I just, yes, treat them with respect as I expect to be treated. And it was an all around great experience at the Rogers Arena. It was, the, and it was just it was, and it added. You'd be surprised how much it added to the experience.
Of course it did.
Of going to a show. Um, and again, I'm not knocking the people here, except that it was such a difference. It was noticeable. There was just an orientation towards serving the customer that you just don't see that much here anymore. And they'll put big signs up about it. We serve our customers. This, that, but the reality is, people are so sick of dealing with people who act like idiots. Now, I don't know that the Canadians don't act like idiots or anything like that, but
It seems it happens less often.
yeah, at this place on this night, uh, at this time, people acted like human beings.
And they have different bacon and they don't overreact to it. You can have Canadian bacon too if you want it.
Have whatever you want. We'll give you, and we don't care what country you come from. That's another thing I was also struck with the multinationalities of all of the people that were there. Now, I know they're having their immigration problems up there too, and it's nothing to sneeze at.
But Vancouver's always been an international city.
But yeah, it was just so much more of, nobody cared that Saeed was helping me. Nobody cared that somebody with a turban on or whatever, the hat that the Sikhs wear was helping people. Nobody cared. It didn't seem to be a factor for anybody. Now, again, I'm not deeply ensconced there. I'm just seeing it on the surface. And I know that there's been hate crimes and this and that. So I'm not saying that the place is, again, paradise, but you just didn't get that overwhelming feeling that everybody was against everybody else. And it was quite, quite refreshing, to be honest with you.
I didn't expect. I
So,
expected this story to be about Bruce Springsteen, and it's not. It's about the
well,
the
it,
the,
it
the
is
average
about
every.
Bruce Springsteen too,
Well, it
uh,
helps. It helps
but
stage the
because
show.
it did make the experience a better experience. When you have to hassle to get to your seat, when you have people that their philosophy is you're trying to sneak in, or you're trying to steal something, or you're trying to take something, or or you don't count. The only thing that our job is to herd you into a seat, which is just didn't appear to be the philosophy of how things were going in Vancouver. And I think that that should be noted to people because if you want to make America great again, that's what you need to get to.
First of all, it has to be great again. That tells you that something has happened where it used to be great and it ain't anymore. And Trump and his minions assume that the only way to regain that greatness is to make sure not everybody gets a piece of it. Everybody is not equal. Everybody is not entitled. Everyone is not welcome. And if the story from Canada is if you got a ticket, come on in.
Yeah, yeah. People did their best to get you into a place to make things comfortable for you, to make you feel like you were welcome. Whereas here in the United States, it seems at these big shows many times you're not made to feel like you're welcome. You're made to feel like you are. We just need to herd you in. Now, again, I'm sure there are places here in the United States, but anyway, so that made the experience of what we saw in front of us for 3.5 hours on Friday night all the more enjoyable. Um, the fact that Bruce Springsteen and his band at their ages can come out and play like they did with the intensity and the obvious enjoyment, not just of the audience, but of the band itself. Now,
Yes,
maybe
the
they
whole.
don't enjoy each other, maybe they hate each other, but they sure made it look like they were enjoying each other's company.
Vinny, if the horn section hates one another, they can't dance like they did. They just can't. They can't put on. They can't put on that type of show. They can't get funky for you. They can't have fun. They can't get loose. And that's what I saw. That's the first thing that caught my mind. I said the horn section is dancing. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it was just, and the song selection was incredible. They opened with Spirit in the Night,
Hmm.
which of all the Bruce shows I've ever seen, I've never seen them open with that one. And they went through just a litany of different periods. What was it? They played a version of Racing in the Street that just made um, Roy Baton and Charlie Giordano, the pianist and the organist, um, just shine,
Yeah.
just absolutely shine. And there was a part in that song where you're transported as you're listening to it. You actually close your eyes and you listen to it, and just the way the organ works against the piano is just is what I would imagine every musician strives for, whether they're classical or rock and roll or whatever they're doing. The way they fit the whole thing together, and the way people just were smart enough to stop and listen and enjoy it instead of screaming, instead of whatever they were doing, um, was phenomenal. Was phenomenal. And so they played Racing, they played Thunder Road, and there was another one that they played that I read after the show had been played in the same concert since 1981.
Wow. What was that?
It was unbelievable. It was again just one of those shows that they left. I mean, they know they do this every night, But how many times can you see a band and say they left it all out there last night? And of the hundred and whatever it is times that I've seen them, I don't remember a night where they didn't leave it all out there.
That's the idea. That's the job.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to accomplish. That's why people pay $2,000 to go see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. That's why people, you know, that's what what the biggest part. I mean, the songwriting certainly is it. The emotion and the feeling of a group being together, brotherhood and sisterhood of people that all enjoy the same thing. But you're watching Picasso paint. You're watching Beethoven play. You're watching Chaplin act. You're just watching the absolute best of the time doing what they do at a level that it makes you almost not want to go see another rock and roll show because it's so good. It's everything else will why can't they do it like them? And I'm not talking about a ball band, but yet this this group of people retain the simplicity of a bar band.
At
They retain,
Asbury Park.
yeah, yeah, they retain that Saturday night. I'm going down to the bar, um, kind of feeling only with really nice instruments. I mean, it's all top flight. It's a show. It's show business at its highest point. So, um, I just and I guess what added to it is we were driving the Volkswagen bus up and back, and I'm quickly becoming such a fan of this vehicle. So I got to go to a show in a vehicle that I consider to be the highest point of the automotive year to see a musical performance that I consider to be the highest point of the year. And it was an experience that moves you. It makes you feel like you see. I mean, often over the past couple of years, we've said we've seen the best of it.
Right.
We lived through the best of times. That
The
it's
golden age.
the golden age. Well, what we saw on Friday night was the last. Maybe one of the last remnants of that golden age, of that piece of us that really represents a time that this country, this world, may never see again. And I was glad that I saw it. Uh, I have a sneaky suspicion that we're not going to see a lot of this anymore. That at 75, with his wife that's going through cancer treatment, with a band that's aging, um, the one thing I did notice is that he looked tired. He had a look about him that was, I'm glad this is, not that I'm glad it's over, but I'm glad that the physical work part of it is over. That I can relax because no matter what your routine is at 75 years old, you know,
I was thinking what it's like when they take a couple months off between the last Canadian show and the European tour. That first show back is like a challenge to get through. It's a demand on the body and the talent.
yeah, yeah. And I've been to a couple of shows that have been pickups of the band after they took a long break. One in Pittsburgh a few years ago. And it takes them, I think, a show or two. As a matter of fact, on the same tour, I saw Pittsburgh, and then a couple of weeks later, I saw Cleveland. I think it might have been 2 weeks or a week in between. I also went to the show First show they did after Clarence passed away
Oh, brother.
in Jersey, and that was like going to a memorial service. I mean, his presence was just there.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to mention too, and I know I'm going a little long-winded on this, but the
No, I don't think so.
relationship between Bruce and Clarence's nephew has blossomed into this buddy, like almost this father and son type of of relationship. Where several times during the show, Jake walked over to Bruce, or Bruce walked over to Jake, or they were on front stage front together. They were upstairs, they were here, they were there. And at the end of the show, there were two people left on stage, Bruce and Jake. And as they turned around, Bruce put his arm around Jake and they walked off the stage together. And I was just struck by the the what that relationship has developed into. I mean, I really think Bruce believes that Clarence
Yeah.
lives in Jake's body.
Yeah.
You know, um, Also the fact that he is turned into, and I've watched this guy since the first show he's played, and I've seen him solo, and he has turned into a phenomenal saxophone player. I mean, he's every bit as good as Clarence was, and I'd hazard a guess to say probably even better. And
He's
I always
taken
thought that
he's taken his place.
he has. He's taken his place. His sax solo in Jungle Land, which many people consider to be one of the best, if not the best, sax solo in any rock and roll song, was it did to you what Clarence's sax solo in that song would do. It grabs your heart
Yeah.
and your gut and it
Down in
pulls on
jungle
it.
land. Down in jungle land.
Yeah, but as soon as he hits that note that just pierces the arena, I mean, you couldn't cut the arena any wider open if you had a crane and a jackhammer, and it was just and he has developed that. Didn't have it at first, but boy, he's got it now.
Yeah. He grew into the part.
Yeah, phenomenally. Now I don't know if he was coached along or how that worked. It must have been tough for them, even though he was Clarence's nephew. It must have been tough for them to accept him at first. But boy, oh boy, as he responded, I was um I was blown away by.
One of the videos you put on Facebook, folks can check it out, is of the band doing their steps across the front of the stage. And
Yeah.
they turn around and Bruce says, "We're going back," and they do their little steps across the stage. Here's my criticism: Little Steven, you got to get in step. But watch
Well, it
Bruce
was his
and
birthday. He might have had a couple of drinks before the.
I think something had distracted him.
So yeah, it was worth every dime I paid for the ticket. I was really stoked that I could bring somebody who had never seen the show before
Wow.
and turn them on to it. And that what you just said, wow, is exactly what they said to me as the show had ended. It was, "Oh, what'd you think?" And he just went, "Wow." Somebody who's never seen it before is just blown away by it, and or you would think they would be. You know, yeah. It's I hope it's not the last time I see them, but if it is the last time, boy, talk about leaving you feeling satisfied. There was no fan except if Rosalita was your favorite song. But you got Meeting Across the River, which you don't usually get in the show. I mean, you don't get. I mean, I haven't heard Meeting Across the River in the show, since the bottom line days.
And think what it's like to pull a song like that out of your history and get it in shape to make it acceptable in the concert.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by, oh, I remember my part. Yeah, I think I remember how this goes. It's not like that. It ain't like that at all. It's a challenge to bring a song out of the files and bring it up to concert status.
right. And when you consider that many of the people on that stage were not there when that song was recorded
Right.
or played in concert many times. Um, Charlie Giordano certainly wasn't. Danny Federici was the organist, and um, the horn section was just Clarence. You had a whole different horn section, and the backup singers weren't there. Obviously the percussionist wasn't there in that form. It was all Max. By the way, is Max Weinberg just one incredible drummer?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I mean, just some of the things he does.
The funny thing is, drummers want to play jazz so they can play eight, nine exchanges, and they have different time signatures that challenge them. But chopping wood, that is just boom, 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 boom. To do that with simplicity and with panache and with energy and with every strike of the stick makes a difference. That's the mark of a great drummer. The guy who keeps time with precision and panache and personality and energy and strength. Because he's hitting something for his job. His job is hitting stuff,
Yeah,
and he has to hit it all night long.
I mean, he's just and he doesn't miss.
No.
He doesn't miss, man. He's like, he reminds me of Ringo Starr, who is another drummer that's uh, underrated. I think has never
Intuitive.
gotten the proper due. Dino Danelli.
Oh, Dino. I
You
love
know,
Dino.
Dino did it while he was flipping his sticks.
He only needed one stick. What he's playing with one stick and spinning the other one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to think of those drummers, who I consider to be some of the best in the business, if not the best in the business. And Max is just keeping this whole big machine. I mean, he's the pistons in the crankcase, man. If one of them go out of time, the whole thing falls apart. If you break a piston rod, you're done for. And he's keeping that thing running, man. So yeah, it was not that I'm enthusiastic about the show or anything.
No, not that you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So now I'm going to bring us down, Michael. I'm going to bring the whole thing down. It's going to make everybody really happy, I'm sure. That the New York Times is reporting that Jack Smith has moved to dismiss the indictment.
To dismiss it?
To dismiss the indictment charging Donald Trump with federal election interference case.
But not the documents case.
Uh, that no. So far, the document case, according to the story, no, just the
So he
federal
skates.
election interference case.
He skates again. Will no
Get
one
used
rid
to
me of this? Will no one rid me of this troublesome priest?
Yeah, get used to it, man. Get your headphones cranked up for the next 4 years because this is what you're gonna. This is you're gonna see this. This will be your holiday present for the next 2 months. Will be just get rid of all of these charges, all of these things that are going on. The only one I don't see them getting rid of is the 43 convictions, and I'm sure that they'll get them overturned at some point.
That's a downer.
Yeah, I mean, but we had a. I mean, I couldn't just let it sit there and look at it and not say something about it. It's
So there are no restraints except the idiocy of the people involved. The only thing restraining them
no, yeah.
is their
There's
own
no,
incompetence.
yeah. There's no restraints, and the justice system in this country
Does nothing.
is, for
Doesn't
all
even
intents
doesn't
and
even
purposes, if you're rich. I mean, we knew this before,
is null and
but
void.
yeah, uh, if you are, if you were anybody else in this country, this wouldn't happen.
You're
But
going
because
down.
you're Donald Trump, it's happened.
Hands off.
Yeah, because you are Trump. Uh, and it ought to piss people off because you can't get away with a parking ticket.
Once you're in the
Um,
system with that parking ticket, it's going to follow you forever.
yeah, if you got arrested for pot in the '60s or '70s or '80s or '90s,
The conviction stands.
the conviction stands. You probably have not gotten a job. You probably have gotten denied something in your life because you had a pot conviction or any kind of minor conviction because you didn't have the money to have a fancy lawyer go in there. You were either assigned legal aid or you were told plead guilty to a lesser charge or you were told that the system would eat you up or ultimately you were threatened with jail.
Or you can tell your public defender to extend the case for 10 years by appealing the
And
appeal.
yeah, they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's said, and listen, I don't care who the president is or what party he belongs to.
Obviously, many Americans share your disgust. They don't care either.
Yeah, I mean, if this was Joe Biden or Barack Obama, or if they took advantage of the system like this, poor Nixon's got to be spinning in his grave.
I didn't have to leave. I could have just stayed in the office, and it would have all been fine. Have them
I just
have
could have
the.
stayed. I could have got myself some better lawyers than John Dean.
I'm going to appeal this.
I could have found some crooks, and I could have stayed another 2 years or three, I guess it was by the time.
As, as they say
Um,
in Queens, you should have stood in the White House.
you should have stood there. So, um, and all of this, I think, will serve to empower him to a an end which could have disastrous consequences.
Remember, the tragedy of the Donald Trump story is still coming. It's taking form, but it's still coming.
I yeah, yeah. But and I'm past the point of saying, well, maybe let's wait and see what he does.
That's like saying it's early when you're a Giants fan. How are your Giants doing this year? Well, it's still early.
Still early. Well, it's September 15th. Geez, it got late. My watch must have stopped. So anyway, what the hell happened with the 49ers this weekend?
No Joey Bosa. He's too busy recovering from his injuries and praising Donald Trump. No quarterback. He's hurt and may not be back for a week. No Brandon Ayuk. He's out for the season. And throwing to Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel apparently doesn't want to play football anymore because he won't catch the ball, and when he does catch it, he won't run with the ball. So I don't know what's going on there. The only guy who played was our tight end.
Yeah, I want to say Cafferty. It's not Cafferty. Well, it was
And we had no quarterback. This Your backup quarterback should at least know the plays and how to throw the ball. Our backup quarterback didn't know either one. So there's that. We didn't have a prayer. Plus, playing in
and
Lambeau when they were all fired up was impossible.
yeah, and in that
But our backup, our secondary players filling in were unable to meet the standard of the league.
so they don't have the Mike Tomlin philosophy of
Next man up.
next man up.
Philosophy looks great on paper, but executing that plan proved to be way too much for the 49ers. They didn't have the horses. They just didn't have the horses.
Well, you know, I would feel sorry for you, except the team that decided that Aaron Rodgers was a good idea. I think this weekend found out what a bad idea he was.
Is he done now?
He has said that he wants to come back in 2025, but not with the Jets.
Oh, so he wants to fire somebody else's head coach.
So yeah, so he says there's got to be another franchise in this league that I can be signed for, and signed with, I should say, and destroy. It has to be a weak franchise because a strong one
It's too much work.
wouldn't let me anywhere near their training camp. I couldn't imagine Aaron Rodgers going over to the Steelers.
So Jacksonville, Chicago.
Yeah, he'll find a home. Somebody will be desperate enough.
Or he'll talk Jerry Jones into doing it on ideological, political lines.
Yeah, that could Joe Rogan will be his agent, and he'll go to Texas and he'll screw that the Cowboys. I don't know what's a worse story, really, if you really think about it, the Cowboys or the Jets. I mean, at least the Cowboys can say, we've got all this talent, but it's hurt. And the guys that are here just don't live up to the standard as the
I got
49ers,
a
right?
team for him that's going to be ripe for a major change. The Rams can't win for losing, so they're going to get rid of their head coach. They'll bring in somebody new. It'd be a fine time for Aaron Rodgers to come in and get the new coach fired. That would extend him through half the season. And
Yeah. Well, that's
the
it. You got to
Rams,
find a weak franchise whose fans believe that
a quick
you
change will
know
make all
that
the difference.
right that one piece, a quarterback, will come in, and that Rodgers still has the ability to live off of anything but his name, which apparently for the Jets he didn't. I don't know that
He had a rough
he had
start
three,
with
a
the
three
injury.
game stretch,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it fell apart, and not just fell apart on the field, but the infection, uh, the um, the pandemic of losing, the pandemic of and the infection that Aaron Rodgers brought to that franchise has swept right up the aisles and into the front office.
everybody's in danger. The head coach is gone. The general manager is gone. There'll be vice presidents flying and personnel executives on their way out. They'll lose their
And no
media
mask is going to
contract.
save you.
No,
No chloroquine will clean up this mess.
no, wait a minute. Hydroxychloroquine has been great for many football teams,
Well, it sure cleaned out the intestines of the New York Football Jets. That's for sure.
but they don't have worms. I don't think you can say that about any other football team.
I don't know. I don't know how they let this infection onto this team. I didn't think this was a good idea from day one, and it certainly proved to be. It was something I didn't want to be right about, but
So if he wants to play for somebody else next year, his season is for all purposes over. He's finished with the Jets. He's done his Jet thing. He's proven
Oh
his worth
yeah,
to
I
the
would think
Jets.
that at this point it's don't get hurt. You
Well,
you
how,
know, um,
but he just told the team that's supposed to protect him that he's not coming back. He doesn't want to play for them anymore. After he has fostered the
think
trades that brought part of the offensive picture to the team. Wide receivers have joined the Jets on his say so. Head coaches have departed on his say so. Front office men are gone because Aaron is unhappy with them. And also remember that in North Carolina, FEMA took water and food away from the people who had suffered from the hurricane. That was his
yeah,
last revelation.
yeah. I don't think they have a lot of Aaron Rodgers in Canada. Maybe they do. I don't
They, ha-
know.
they have the Canadian football team, the football league, and football teams, but they don't have anybody quite like Aaron Rodgers currently playing for them, to my knowledge.
Well, he is the prime example of of what a sour puss, sour ass person can do to your team. A person who's not happy with anything. He's not happy with his country. He's got all the money in the world, but he's not happy with that. He's playing in the biggest city in the league, and he's not happy with that.
He had a chance to turn it
Um,
around and show everybody what he could do, but he didn't want to. That wasn't apparently that was not in his plans.
yeah, the team goes out and gets him whatever he wants. The owner of the team, and listen, I'm no big fan of Woody Johnson, but the owner goes out. Oh, in another motion, Jack Smith moves to end his bid to revive the documents case
So they're dropping
per
it.
CBS News. So it's so so anyway. Aaron Rodgers, yes, yeah, and he will find. Unfortunately, in the world of sports, as we're now seeing in the world of politics, Aaron Rodgers will find a place to land. Somebody will pay him. Somebody will think he's the answer, and they will pay him a ton of money to come to their franchise and revive it. He,
Again, he that would be the promise, that would be the hope, but I think he's proven that he cannot do it. He cannot do
yeah,
it. He has the type of leadership where he accepts none of the fault and you accept all of the fault. But we haven't played it down. No, we're not going to play it down until I say. But I just want you to know if it's 3rd and 7 and you don't make the catch, this whole drive is on you. It's not on me. I'm only the quarterback. There's only so much I can do, and I'm going to get another wide receiver to take your place from somewhere. We'll make a trade with the Raiders. They're always good. They're always suckers.
yeah. They might be amenable to to bring him in.
What about the guys who we traded for to bring them to the Jets so you could have an offense? I'm leaving them behind. They weren't what I wanted.
Or maybe I'll take him to my next place. Maybe we come as a package deal or a big road show. Although I can't imagine that you'd want to play with Aaron Rodgers. I can't imagine that if you were a football player and you wanted to win, you didn't want to just collect a paycheck.
Well,
That
you better make friends with your left tackle. That's all I'm saying. And apparently he can't do that. So watch your blind side, Aaron. You got games to play.
yeah, yeah, you're yeah, you might reconsider that wanting to come back next year. You may go and ask them in Green Bay if they do you a favor and sign you to a 1 day contract so you could retire in a Green Bay uniform. And if I were them, I'd tell you to go screw yourself,
Go take a flying leap.
which would leave you retiring in a Jets uniform, which if I were the owner, I would say yes, absolutely.
Of course, we'll take a retirement.
We'll sell a lot of jerseys. Maybe we'll sell enough jerseys
Offset the trade for
to
Devontae
offset the
Adams.
loss. It'll become the biggest joke jersey in the National Football League. Get yourself an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. Hall of Famer.
You'll always be a star on the special shows on ESPN, Aaron. Don't you worry. You'll always be a star there. They'll always have you in. You can always tell us what you're doing over the summer. What are you doing in the off season, Aaron? Tell us about your plans.
I'm going to join the administration as the Secretary of Physical Fitness.
Which doesn't exist, but that's good.
Well, isn't there though? Don't they have
I think that would be under Health and Human Services, and I would
and
like
they're
to
going
see
to be gone.
Aaron Rodgers and RFK Jr. together would be a poisonous roadshow.
A match made in heaven. Are you kidding me?
Let them play bridge.
Talk about two guys that would have something to talk about.
The Bro Report. Well, bro, what do you say? I'll tell you what, bro.
Well, let's call up Pat McAfee and see what he's doing. What's up?
I just want him to put his arms down. Stop whatever you're doing. Stop it and put your arms down, Pat McAfee. And plus, I don't know if you've noticed, but he has the tiniest hands. It's like, remember Kristen Wiig on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, she had the Lawrence Welk.
She had tiny little hands that she touched her face with. Well, McAfee's got the same thing, but they're real. They're his hands. And there's something very weird genetically going on there that I don't want to know any more about, but I can see there's a problem.
Also, doesn't Trump have tiny hands too? Isn't that maybe a trait of some of these neo-Nazis, neo-conservatives, whatever they are? Is they have the little
wee little lambs. Yes, it's a strange. Maybe Aaron Rodgers' hands are too small for his job too. I'll have to check that out. I wouldn't be completely surprised. But McAfee, his show to me is unhearable, unlistenable.
Yeah, I don't watch it. I
can't take 30 seconds of it. The lead into there's a highlight from the Pat McAfee show, and it includes Pat McAfee. I'm already gone before the highlight gets played. And I have a pristine judgment of talent that has never failed me. And McAfee's, there's something terribly wrong there. The content, the delivery, the talent, the voice, the mannerisms, forget about it.
It's I don't watch Pat McAfee, so I don't know. The only time I've ever seen is if I've gone to, if there's some kind of interview or something he's done that's made news, I go to watch the clip because that kind of broism doesn't interest me. And maybe that's why we're not on the air at some big sports station, because I'm not a bro like that. I try to be maybe that's why I like baseball, because I try to be a thinking fan, somebody who thinks.
And as you know, Vinnie, that's our first mistake.
Well, in the world of in a world where your goal in life is to get an autograph from somebody, I don't know. I just think that there's better, bigger things to do in life than to just sit there and worry about. Because every time you worry about something like that, and Aaron Rodgers comes along.
And the headline on ESPN, and the headlines will be, Pat McAfee drops his drink during the show. And they'll slow it in real time, then in slow motion. Then they'll analyze what was in the drink. It's a non-news headline, made to seem important, made to seem significant, and there's no content to it. There's nothing there. There is no there.
It makes you realize that. Again, we always talk about this, Michael. It's show business. It's if you're looking to these things as news. It's not news. It's show business. It's entertainment. Sport for achievement has just been just like news has gone over to be entertainment because they've realized that people can be sat in a seat and fed whatever you want to feed them, and that they'll actually pony up money.
Make them pay $2,000 before they have the seat.
They'll pay $200 a month for cable. They'll pay $150 a month to stream and to get all the information they possibly can. And now with sports betting,
They can be part of the
uh,
action.
they can be part of the action. Exactly. They can feel like they have a more of a stake in the game.
And if you don't know what to do, MGM Bets is going to buy a 30-second spot to tell you how to bet on the game that you're currently watching the pregame show for.
Yep. MGM, and it's only a matter of time, and you know it, and I know it, until somebody gets caught doing something untoward. Too
They're
much
doing
money there.
they're doing it now. We just don't know.
Right. It's happening right now. As I said, get caught. It's already going on. And it's just a matter of time until somebody, some athlete, some uh, you know, entity will get caught.
Somebody thinks they're bigger than the machine. Jerry Jones will say, I've suffered some losses this year. I want to rework my deal with MGM Bets. I need a little bit more of a take, and I want to do it now, and I want it in cash, and I want it beginning with this game. But Jerry, you don't even have a starting quarterback. That's why I want a bigger cut. I want to rework my deal. You want people to bet on the Cowboys? That's me. They're betting on me, and I say, here's how we do the deal from now on. And then Jerry winds up missing. We can't find him.
Yeah, where is Jerry? He's hanging out with Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah, yeah. I don't see. I don't see a big grand wonderful ending for all of this. To be honest with you, not that I want to be cynical. And again, that's why I say I enjoy driving down the street and watching a high school football game in progress or a little league baseball game. I enjoy watching kids who maybe haven't caught on to still have some innocence about them, and uh, we'll see where it goes. But it makes me want to. It makes me less addicted, less prone to watch the Pat McAfees of the world or to listen to the softies of the world get outraged about why Washington didn't win last weekend or why the Cougars have now dropped 2 games in a row.
It's because they are losing games. There's no mystery about it. They played a better team that was better motivated, better coached, better prepared, and they beat you.
No, no. See, that can't be.
That can't be.
That can't be. Don't you know that the Huskies have a divine right to win? Don't you understand that? This is Don James' old team.
That's why they call it the Montlake cut, because the first cut is the deepest. I know that makes no sense.
It doesn't, but it works.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, as I always say, we've done about all the damage we can do today.
Anyway, I'm glad you had a great show, Ben, and I'm glad you're driving the Volkswagen because those two great uppers. The show's an upper. The experience in Canada was an upper. The show itself and the way you got there through the new Volkswagen overpriced bus is an upper. So that's three right there. Three good things that we can rely on. That the world is maybe going to hell in a handbasket, but it's a nice handbasket,
and
as
it and it's
handbaskets
a
go.
week and it's a week to give thanks for all that we have. And as much as we complain, as much as although again, this whole Jack Smith thing is really disheartening.
Well, I blame the Justice Department for waiting too damn long.
Well, yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that this should have been done um, the first blush when Merrick Garland sat down in his seat.
Should have been day one.
This should have been the first thing that was looked at, but instead,
Now here's
uh,
this here's a view of this that we haven't come up with. Aileen Cannon's not going to say, I'm a good judge. I turned out to be a real winner. You can bet on me. You can back my move. I think I'm really going to start doing some more judging now. I'm going to start today and start judging stuff and make decisions and declare certain things admissible and certain things
what
inadmissible. Follow my lead. I think I got this now. I understand what judging is all about.
what are the odds that Aileen Cannon is the next nominee to the Supreme Court?
She's got no record whatsoever, so yes, I'd say pretty good.
Yeah, unless it's Elon Musk. You know,
Is that any relation to Leon Musk?
it's his son, one of his 11. Doesn't he have 11 kids or something, or something bizarre like that?
He's gonna make his several wives and widely scattered children all move into a big house and live together. He's not going to be there.
There's a show like that called Sister Wives. It's on
Yeah,
Discovery. The
he's
stuff
not
you
Mormon.
discover on Discovery is not what
He's
you
not
want to
Mormon,
be.
but he is South African. The South African Mormon takeoff, and he wants everybody living in the same big house. And he's selling the rights to the guys who do Big Brother.
Yeah. Uh, well,
Watch his
Mikey,
11 children clash in a fight for the family money.
you got to fight for your right to party.
You got to fight for your right.
Oh, you're right. Party.
I went in to
All right.
buy.
Well, I will
I
see
went
you
in,
on Wednesday morning.
I have a party song, party story, a very quick one. Went into this new urban pet store where the cats have discovered they love this one brand of cat food. So I went in there yesterday. As soon as I'm standing in front of the cat food, ready to put it in the basket, and the lights and the power goes off in the whole building. We're standing in the dark. 20 seconds later, the lights come back on, and I yell, "Party!" And I got a good standing ovation for that one.
Nice. Nice. Um,
That's it.
Cats don't eat tabby treat anymore.
We've hit the wall on the insufferable nature of these cats. Puna is the troublemaker. And that I don't know how that cat made it this far because he won't eat anything. But it's not just that; it's what he does to get you to feed him the next layer, the next to involve yourself in his next meal, knocking stuff off tables, knocking the ashtray off the table, knocking the channel
So,
changer off the table.
so the cat just doesn't want food. He wants food and company.
He doesn't want peace to reign for more than 30 seconds at a time.
What can you
He's
say?
a big cat. He's not a widow kitty.
What can you say, Mikey? Cats are going to run the world.
They do, and they know it.
Cats are going to run the world better than we could ever, and they'll probably do a much better job than we have
Will I
done.
see you on Wacky Wednesday then?
Yes, you'll see me on Wednesday, and then I won't see you until Monday after that. I'm going to take Friday off. My sister's coming up and her husband, and we're going to have a nice Thanksgiving right here in beautiful Seattle.
Especially with that Italian dress, the Italian stuffing.
The Italian stuffing and the kosher turkey. See, we bring Jewish and Italian together
like never before.
like never before. All right, listen. If the Lord's will, the creek don't rise. I'll see you on Wednesday, man. What could
Have a
go
good
wrong
one,
between
man.
now and then?
Ask Jack Smith; he'll tell you.
Yeah, his
Happy
head's got to
Thanksgiving,
be
man.
hurt right now. Peace, love, Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine. See you, Ben.
See you, Mikey. Thank you all for listening as well. We appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you on Wednesday. Have a good one.
Bye.